Chamber music has always been one of my lifelong passions. As a violist, chamber music is where the majority of all of my greatest repertoire comes from. And ever since I was a child, I've dreamed of a life playing chamber music. So my management, Credia, called me in one day and they said, Richard, we'd like you to come up with a project, something that you would find very meaningful. And I said, well, I always wanted to have chamber music in Korea. I go to concerts at the time, and there are a lot of orchestral concerts, and there are a lot of solo concerts, and a lot of opera concerts, and now there's even viola recitals, but I don't see a lot of chamber music. I don't see a lot of love for chamber music. So Credia agreed that we'd start a project based once a year in Seoul in June, and I came up with the people, and they came up with the name, and that was the beginning.
Ensemble DITTO has become one of the most important parts of my life as a musician. It certainly is the longest project that I've ever taken part in. This is now my 8th year. Next summer will be my 9th, and DITTO's 10th season. And to me, there's something incredibly special about playing music that I love with people who I feel very close to. That sense of sort of shared mission and affection and mutual admiration is a very powerful and special combination.
Well, I feel like music is a language, and I think to be able to communicate and to speak with not just yourself, but with others is a very important and very fulfilling part of playing with other people. And I think at its highest level, when you are doing that, it really feels like you can question and you can respond and you can have a stimulating conversation through the language of music.
Well, there is a difference playing solo or chamber music, not in the approach to the music. Of course, in any piece of music you do, you approach it the same way, trying to bring out the composer's intent and convey whatever feeling or emotion or message that the composer wanted to put across. But of course, with chamber music, you're performing with other people, and it's a conversation, and there's much more give and take, and it's much more engaging to me as a musician.
I've never actually played in, I know this is not really a set chamber music group, but it's a lot of the musicians are the same. So I think it's really amazing to be able to play with the same people for so many concerts, and you just grow together as a group. I think I've played my career has been very focused on just solo piano. So I've learned so much throughout these past 2 tours, and it's been a really, really great experience for me.
In rehearsal, where we stop and discuss a lot of things and make musical decisions. But on stage, we communicate by listening. Just like in speaking, when someone's voice goes in a certain direction, you also in playing music, you can kind of predict what someone will do or what they're feeling in the moment based on how they're sounding. And as a good listener, a good conversationalist in a dialogue, you can also adapt on stage. And that can be one of the most fun parts of performing, where it's a bit different from what you planned in rehearsal. Someone has a burst of inspiration or is feeling a certain way, and the others on stage respond and go with him or her. And the performance can veer off into sometimes a wonderful new direction, sometimes a catastrophic new direction. But even if it's catastrophic, it's kind of fascinating.
life is so short, and to be pulled always away from being in the present is difficult, because it's basically the only thing we know we have is right now. So when I'm on stage performing, it is, at its best, is the most sacred, special place of being. I feel that in great performances, when I'm really with great people, like tonight with Gidon Kramer, and they are totally living in the moment with me, and they are taking calculated but drastic risks playing, and you let yourself go. It's almost like you're throwing yourself out into the universe, and you're flying in the middle of nowhere. It's scary, but at the same time, it's just the most amazing feeling when it goes well. You know, it's very powerful. It releases something in the soul and the brain and the body that is very powerful. So performing is my most special time. My philosophy as a musician is that this is not just an avocation. I'm not just doing this for fun. Of course, I get great pleasure out of this, but to me it's a very deep calling. A calling because I feel at its greatest, music can change people. It can speak to people in ways and get them to access parts of themselves that they can't even really understand. And it's very, very powerful.